Have you ever seen a truck shaped like a giant hot dog speeding down the highway? Or a military beast so thirsty it consumes fuel faster than you can pour it? Welcome to the wild side of automotive history. Today we are not looking at your average pickup trucks like the Ford F-150. We are diving into the strange, the legendary, and the absolutely bizarre. From the frozen wastelands of the Soviet Union to the sunny streets of America, we have hunted down 10 classic trucks that defy explanation. Some were built to save nations, while others were just crazy experiments gone wrong. Buckle up, because you won't believe these machines actually exist. We begin our journey with a true war hero, a machine that proves engineering knows no borders, the Studebaker US6. While the name sounds as American as apple pie, this truck became an absolute legend on the other side of the world, in the Soviet Union. Produced between 1941 and 1945 by the Studebaker Corporation in Indiana, this 6x6 behemoth was designed to conquer the toughest terrains imaginable. While the U.S. Army preferred other trucks, the US6 became the backbone of the Red Army during World War II, proving that sometimes a product finds its true home far away from where it was born. What made the US6 so special was its rugged simplicity. It was powered by the Hercules JXD six-cylinder gasoline engine, producing roughly 95 horsepower. That might not sound like much today, but combined with its robust transmission and a payload capacity of 5,000 pounds off-road, it was unstoppable. The Soviets loved it because, unlike their domestic trucks at the time, the Studebaker was reliable and could handle the brutal Russian winter without freezing up. It featured a distinctively tough design with metal grills and a high stance, allowing it to wade through deep mud and snow that would trap lesser vehicles. However, the most iconic role of this truck was serving as the primary platform for the terrifying Katyusha rocket launchers. When you see historical footage of rockets firing into the German lines, creating a deafening noise that terrified enemy troops, they are likely launching from the back of an American Studebaker. Over 200,000 of these were sent to the USSR under the Lend-Lease program. It is a strange twist of history that an American truck became the symbol of Soviet military might. The US6 was tough, simple, and rugged, a perfect start to our list of legends. If the Studebaker was the hero of the war, the Ural 375D was the monster of the Cold War. Entering production in 1961, this Soviet general-purpose truck was designed with one goal: to go where no roads existed. The Ural 375D is a 6x6 off-road beast that looks like it could smash through a brick wall without a scratch. With a curb weight of over 18,000 pounds, it is a massive piece of iron. Its aggressive, boxy nose and high ground clearance make it instantly recognizable as a symbol of Soviet heavy industry and military might. The heart of this giant is a massive 7.0-liter V8 gasoline engine, the ZIL 375, and this is where things get crazy. This engine was derived from a luxury limousine design, meaning it required high-octane fuel, a rarity in the military. But its biggest problem is its legendary thirst. This truck is one of the least fuel-efficient vehicles ever made. In rough terrain, consumption could reach nearly 2.5 miles per gallon. That means for every 100 miles you drive, you burn through roughly 40 gallons of fuel. It is an environmental nightmare, but a mechanical marvel of raw power. Despite its drinking problem, the Ural 375D was an off-road genius. It featured a central tire inflation system, allowing the driver to adjust tire pressure from inside the cabin to float over sand, swamp, or deep snow. It was used for everything from transporting troops to carrying the BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher system. The distinctive roar of its V8 engine could be heard from miles away. While it has largely been replaced by diesel versions today, the original gasoline-powered Ural remains a legend for its ability to traverse terrain that would stop a modern tank. Leaving the Soviet giants behind, we travel to East Germany to meet a true icon of the socialist era, the IFA W50. Built in the city of Ludwigsfelde, this truck wasn't just a vehicle, it was the backbone of an entire nation's economy. The W stands for Werdau, where it was designed, and 50 represents its payload capacity of 5 metric tons or about 11,000 pounds. Production started in 1965 and ran for an incredible 25 years. If you lived in the Eastern Bloc between the 60s and the 80s, you saw this truck every single day. The IFA W50 was powered by a 6.56-liter four-cylinder diesel engine. It wasn't built for speed, topping out at around 50 miles per hour, but it was built to last forever. Its design is instantly recognizable with its cab-over-engine layout and a friendly wide grille that gives it a distinct face. The engineering was focused on simplicity. You could practically repair it with a hammer and a basic wrench, which made it incredibly popular in developing countries. It was a massive export success, sold to nations across Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, including Vietnam. What truly made the W50 special was its versatility. It had over 60 different variants straight from the factory. It served as a dump truck, a fire engine, a military troop carrier, a crane, and even a furniture van with an extended cabin. Some versions were equipped with balloon tires for agriculture, while others had all-wheel drive for military use. While it lacked the comfort and electronics of Western trucks, the IFA W50 represents pure utilitarian engineering at its finest. It was a truck that built nations, one load at a time. Welcome to Hungary. In the 1960s, the Hungarian People's Army needed a new off-road truck, and the Csepel Works delivered the D344. At first glance, it looks like a standard vintage military truck, perhaps a bit charming with its rounded hood. But if you look underneath the chassis, you will find a drivetrain layout that is completely unique in the world of trucks. Most 4x4 trucks use a central drive shaft to send power to a differential in the middle of the front axle. But Csepel engineers had a different idea. To keep the truck's profile low and stable, the engineers couldn't put a bulky differential directly under the engine. Their solution was a complex transfer case that sent power to the front wheels via two separate propeller shafts, one for the left wheel and one for the right. This intricate mechanical ballet allowed the engine to sit lower, giving the truck a much lower center of gravity than its competitors. It was powered by a 5.5-liter four-cylinder diesel engine producing roughly 100 horsepower. It wasn't a powerhouse, but it was smart. Despite its modest power and a top speed of only about 50 miles per hour, the D344 was surprisingly agile on mountain roads thanks to its clever weight distribution. It served faithfully for decades, towing artillery and carrying supplies across difficult terrain. While the dual-shaft system was complicated to maintain, it proved that Hungarian engineers were willing to think outside the box. Today, collectors love it for its quirks and that distinct, almost retro-futuristic rounded cabin. It is a prime example of how different nations solved the same problems in completely different ways. Czechoslovakia has a rich history of mechanical engineering, and one of their most famous creations is the Praga V3S, a legendary military off-roader. But what happens when you need a truck for regular roads? You get the Praga S5T. The S stands for Silničný, which means road in Czech, and 5T stands for its 5-ton capacity. Launched in the late 1950s, the S5T was essentially the civilized brother of the military V3S. It took the rugged bones of a war machine and adapted them for hauling coal, milk, and groceries. The most distinctive feature of the S5T is its engine. It used an air-cooled Tatra diesel engine. Yes, air-cooled. This meant there was no radiator to leak, no water pump to fail, and no coolant to freeze in the harsh winters. The engine sound is unmistakable, a loud clattering roar that you can hear from miles away. While the military version had a flat face, the S5T featured a long, protruding nose to house the engine, giving it better aerodynamics and a unique, almost anteater-like profile that stands out on the road. Inside, the cabin was more comfortable than the military version, although comfortable is a relative term for a truck from the 60s. The S5T was lowered for better stability on asphalt and geared for higher speeds, reaching about 45 miles per hour. It was the workhorse of Czechoslovakia for decades. While it might look strange to modernize, the S5T was a triumph of practical engineering. It's rugged, loud, and undeniably charismatic, a truck that refuses to die and still has a cult following among classic vehicle enthusiasts today. When you think of American heavy trucks, names like Mack or Peterbilt usually come to mind. But true connoisseurs know the legend of Brockway. Founded in Cortland, New York, Brockway started as a carriage builder in the 1800s before moving into trucks. The Model 761 is a prime example of their philosophy, rugged luxury. Why is it on this list? Because of its mascot. Every Brockway truck proudly displays a husky dog on the radiator grille. They were marketed as the most rugged truck in the world, and the husky symbolized stamina and strength. The 761 series, popular in the 60s and 70s, wasn't mass-produced on a generic assembly line like a Ford. These were often custom-built to the buyer's exact specifications. They were famous for their heavy-duty construction, using real steel fenders instead of fiberglass or plastic. Power came from massive diesel engines, often Cummins or Caterpillar, allowing these trucks to haul massive loads of timber or construction materials. Driving a Brockway 761 was a physical experience. No power steering in the early days, just a raw mechanical connection between the driver and the road. Sadly, the company closed its doors in 1977, making these trucks rare collectibles today. The Brockway 761 represents a bygone era of American manufacturing where quality and customization were more important than volume. Seeing a husky on the road today is a special treat for truck lovers. It stands as a monument to the golden age of trucking, a time when trucks had distinct personalities and were built to outlive their owners. But if a massive American semi is too big for you, how about a truck that is technically a motorcycle? We are now entering the weird and tiny section of our list, and we start in Italy with the Machi MB1. You might know the name Machi from their famous World War II fighter planes or Airmachi motorcycles. After the war, Italy needed cheap, efficient transportation to rebuild the country, and Machi had a brilliant idea: combine a motorcycle with a truck. The MB1, introduced in the 1950s, is a three-wheeled diesel truck. Yes, 3 wheels. It looks like the front of a motorcycle was welded to the back of a cargo box. But don't let the size fool you. This was a serious machine. It featured a fully closed cabin for the driver, which was pure luxury compared to riding a scooter in the rain. It was powered by a robust 750cc diesel engine, providing enough torque to carry heavy loads of stone, wood, or produce. The design is incredibly utilitarian. The single front wheel allowed for a tight turning radius, perfect for navigating the narrow, ancient streets of Italian cities where a standard 4-wheel truck would get stuck. The Machi MB1 represents a specific moment in history where efficiency was more important than speed or comfort. Top speed was barely 40 miles per hour, and the ride was bumpy, but it got the job done. It chugged along with that classic diesel thumping sound, helping to build modern Italy. It is strange, it can be unstable at high speeds if you aren't careful, but it is undeniably cool. But if you think 3 wheels are weird, wait until you see a truck made of canvas. This might be the most adorable truck ever made. Meet the Solyto. Produced in France by New Map starting in the 1950s, this vehicle stretches the definition of the word truck. It was designed as a sans-permis vehicle, meaning it had an engine so small that you didn't even need a driver's license to operate it in France. The Solyto is basically a sheet metal box on 3 tiny wheels, weighing only about 300 pounds. It is so small you could almost park it in your living room. But the craziest part: to save weight and money, on earlier models like the TC, the doors and sides were often made of canvas. It is essentially a tent on wheels. Power came from a tiny 2-stroke engine, often around 125 cc, similar to what you would find in a small scooter. With less than 5 horsepower, the top speed was a terrifying 30 miles per hour, if you were brave enough to push it that far. It offers 0 crash protection, 0 speed, and 0 luxury, but it oozes character. It was marketed to small business owners, bakers, milkmen, and florists who needed to move goods short distances around the village. Driving one feels like you are sitting in a vintage toy. The engine buzzes right next to you, and you can feel every pebble on the road. It serves as a reminder of a time when regulations were loose, and innovation meant making things as simple as humanly possible. From a French tent truck, let's go to Japan for a truck that has the cutest face in automotive history. In the world of Japanese K-trucks, tiny vehicles regulated by government size limits, the Mazda Porter Cab stands out as the undisputed king of cuteness. Specifically, we are talking about the facelifted version introduced in 1977. While the original model was charming, the 77 update gave it a look that looks like it came straight out of an anime. The most distinctive feature is its face. It has two large round headlights surrounded by thick cream-colored plastic bezels that look like glasses or the eyes of a panda. Between those eyes is a small vent that looks like a nose. It literally looks like the truck is smiling at you. Beneath the cabin sits a small 550cc two-cylinder engine, upgraded from the earlier versions to meet new regulations. It produces about 29 horsepower, which is just enough to carry its 1,300-pound payload through tight city streets. The engine sound is unique, a high-pitched buzz that sounds more like a lawnmower than a truck, adding to its toy-like appeal. It's tiny, efficient, and impossible to ignore. Despite its adorable appearance, the Porter Cab was a tough worker. It helped rebuild and sustain Japan's economy, navigating the tightest alleyways of Tokyo and Osaka where larger trucks couldn't fit. Today, they are cult classics around the world. People modify them, lower them, or just restore them to keep that happy face on the road. It is impossible to be angry when you see a 1977 Mazda Porter Cab. But for our final truck, we have something that isn't just cute, it is a global celebrity. We have saved the best for last. This is not just a truck, it is a marketing masterpiece, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. The idea was born in 1936 when Karl Mayer, the nephew of the company's founder, suggested building a vehicle shaped like a giant hot dog to promote their sausages. The concept was crazy, but it worked. While there have been many versions over the decades built on Dodge, Chevy, and GMC chassis, the core design remains the same. A 27-foot-long fiberglass hot dog resting on a yellow bun. This vehicle defies all logic. It is aerodynamic nonsense, visually loud, and serves no practical purpose other than to make people smile and hungry. The driver is officially called a hot dogger, and their job is to drive across America spreading joy and handing out wiener whistles. Underneath the bun, modern versions are typically powered by a powerful V8 engine, similar to a delivery van, allowing it to keep up with highway traffic at 65 miles per hour. It's a surreal sight to see a giant hot dog overtaking you on the freeway. The Wienermobile proves that sometimes the weirdest ideas are the most brilliant. It has survived for nearly a century, outliving almost every other car brand from the 1930s. Seeing one in real life is considered a sign of good luck by many. It is the ultimate combination of automotive engineering and pure American advertising genius. It is not just a vehicle, it is an icon of pop culture that brings out the inner child in everyone who sees it. These 10 mechanical marvels prove that automotive history is full of surprises, not just boring horsepower figures. From the frozen battlefields of the East to the sunny highways of the West, human creativity truly knows no bounds. I'm curious, if you had to pick one truck to survive a zombie apocalypse, which one would it be? The armored Ural or the speedy Wienermobile? Let us know below. If you enjoyed this wild ride, please smash that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories. Thanks for watching.